have a dream, oh, I have a dream. Red, white, and blue, fly free, fly free. I believe, oh, I believe. Will you dream with me?
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. It is Wednesday, November the 30th. We're just about through with this month. And you know what comes in December? Christmas and everything around that. So, we are live at the Axe Media Group headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. And I am always the weatherman. So I'll tell you that it's pretty cold this morning. Got down around 19 to 22, 23 degrees around Southwest Missouri. Going to be up in the lower 40s to mid 40s today. I think tomorrow's supposed to be warmer. Might get up to 50 or 60, but it's going to go cold again and back and forth. I think we're into winter time now in Southwest Missouri. But,
there was snow on the ground this morning.
There was in some
on my deck anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Out in Rogersville.
In Rogersville. So there's another weatherman right there. So thanks for filling in there. You know, Southwest Missouri is one of those areas where great time to come down to Branson around the St. Louis, Kansas City area, watch the lights up in Kansas City at the plaza. Down in Branson, where we are from, we're all from Southwest Missouri. It's a tremendous time at Silver Dollar City and lots of things that you can do down there. Great for families. And so we hope that a lot of people can come. All people are watching from all 50 states and around the world today. And so we have a special guest that we're going to have Louis Michael introduce in just a moment. And she's actually in Sweden. So we were trying to get her on the broadcast where you could actually see her because she's a very attractive, pretty lady. And we wanted her to be seen and heard.
She's as sweet as she is pretty.
I bet she is, you know. And so let's just go ahead and get started. What we're doing today is Louis Michael is our first sponsor. We have two other sponsors in December that we'll have for 45 minutes. And so it's their time to talk about what they're doing. And so we divided the show up into two parts. The first is what Louis Michael really loves is his Choosing to Live. That's his nonprofit, trying to make sure that people choose to live instead of taking their life. And then the second half is he's a realtor for the firm down in Ozark, Missouri. And we're going to be talking about what he does and what he kind of sees and recommends for 2023. So it's a show that's going to give hope, and then it's going to give education. So I'm Lynn Morris.
And I'm Don Blackard.
You certainly are, and I'm sure glad that you are back. That video and music that starts out, I just want the audience to know that Don Blackard wrote that, and a friend of ours, John Miner, who's not with us today, unfortunately, but he sung that song. So Louis Michael,
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, and I tell you what, this is going to be an interesting show. I want to first start out and let you introduce your guest.
Excellent. Well, my name's Louis Michael, as he said, and I was fortunate enough to meet this sweet lady several years ago. And, of course, being a huge Elvis fan and getting to know a lot of those people, I didn't realize in years past that I hadn't met the most important one to me. Donna Presley was Elvis's first cousin, is Elvis's first cousin. She actually lived at Graceland. And her family lived there on the ranch, too, that Elvis bought, the Circle G Ranch, just south of Graceland. And anyway, she's in Sweden right now on a tour over there. The people overseas, and even here in this country, obviously, but they're just so engrossed and love everything Elvis. And so she's over there on a tour right now, telling some stories and having a great time, hopefully. But say hello, Donna.
Hello there. Hi. How are you doing?
We are great. We're so glad to have you on here. And tell us a little bit about the tour that you're on over there right now.
Well, I'm on tour with a rock and roll guy from Sweden, and his name's Peter Ujeski. He's been in rock and roll for 45 years now, and he's extremely famous over here. And he's just a marvelous and wonderful guy, and everybody in the band is just, I mean, it's like a big family, and it's we do rock and roll. We do, of course, Elvis is involved. And so I sing 3 songs with Peter, and then I talk to the fans and tell everybody about, what Elvis was like and the family and growing up at Graceland and so forth. And they're loving it. They're just so hungry for this kind of music. And it takes you back to a happier, more gentle time in your life, and it brings back great memories and a lot of joy to people.
Right. Well,
so we're having a great time.
That's fantastic. As we know, Elvis reaches so many. In my house, I always said it was Jesus, Elvis, and baseball, and that was right there in line. But I mean, Elvis is known worldwide. I mean, even he's probably known on Mars if there's any life there. But we're awful glad that you're here, and I'm very thankful that you had stepped on board with us. You're one of our board members on Choosing to Live, and
yes,
we had a great time. I know
I'm honored.
We had a fundraiser here last year, or this last year in June, for the Elvis premiere, and we had it here in Springfield, and you were one of our featured guests, and a lot of people got to meet you and say hello and get pictures. And but I know this is something that's close to your heart and your desire to help people get past this desire to commit suicide, and I thank you for being a part of that.
Hey, Donna, I've got a question. I've got a question. So, because Louis sings on our show, and people are hearing him all over the world, around our country. And the gentleman that has the band that you said is very good, I'm sure he is extremely good. Is he better than Louis in singing Elvis songs? I mean, because he'd have to be awful good. I just wanted to know if that gentleman in Sweden is better than Louis in singing Elvis songs, because Louis, I would put my money on Louis. I haven't heard the guy from Sweden.
Well, we definitely don't want her to say anything before she's done with the tour.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably true. But I'm kind of.
Hey, let me tell you, they're both awesome in their own right.
Okay,
you know, it's equal.
Okay, very, very good. That's a politically good answer. So I'm in politics, and so unfortunately, I missed that fundraiser. I think I sent some money, but I missed it because I wanted to see the Elvis show, but I also wanted to support Louis, and I wanted to meet you, and I didn't get to because I was running for presiding commissioner in Christian County, and I unfortunately had a political event that night a picnic where we all had to speak, and I couldn't get out of it. And so
he tried. I know he did for several days. He talked about it and trying to figure out a way to.
I wanted to be the first speaker, and then I wanted to kind of get out of there, but I didn't get to be the first speaker. And so anyway, that was okay. But hey, thanks for being on our show today. You will win the prize for being the furthest person away from our show in Springfield, Missouri as a guest. There's no way that anybody's going to beat you in Sweden. I don't know how many thousands of miles you are from here.
How many hours ahead are you over there?
7 hours.
7 hours. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you've already been up quite a while then. Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Well, you've probably already done a full day's work, and then you still got to work tonight. So, but
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think that is so cool that you lived at the Elvis mansion. You lived and saw and just breathed everything that happened about Elvis and his family. And so, and I think I'm really appreciative of the fact that you're keeping his memory alive. That's part of what you're doing. You're entertaining people, but you're actually educating and keeping his memory alive, which I think is extremely important. That's part of the legacy that I feel like that is extremely important, because Elvis helped a lot of people. This show, Changing Times, Don and I, and then Louis a sub co-host. So when one of us is not on the show, Louis steps in. And this show, Changing Times, we all know that the times are really changing, and they're changing fast, and sometimes not for the good. And so our show talks about social issues, social causes, but we always try to keep it positive with a positive solution, because there's a lot of negative out there. So we really appreciate you being here on our show.
And Donna, I would just like to say that I could think that Elvis would be very proud of what you and Louis are doing with Choosing to Live, and that there's so much life out there. You. There's such, we've experienced in this, human nature that we go through lows and we go through highs, and it's really getting people to, stay focused, keep your eyes on the Lord, and helping people pull out of those really low times. And today's show, getting to encourage people to choose to live. Just very thankful for the show and thankful that you're part of this mission.
Well, thank you so much. It's believe me, it's an honor and a privilege. And suicide affects so many people. I mean, there's rarely any families out there that hasn't been touched by it one way or the other. And of course, the Presley family is certainly among that group that has been touched by it. And it's sad to know that people would think that they have no hope when God and serving Him is all about hope and joy and being able to get through life. And He doesn't promise that it's going to be easy, but He promises that He'll always be there and He'll bring us through.
Yes.
Amen.
And so it's a privilege for me. And Elvis touched so many lives around the world, and he did it with love and gentleness and joy and having a good time and showing kindness to one another. And you never know when just one small act of kindness can change another person's life. So, I try to follow in what God would have us to do and what my family taught me, and the same people that raised Elvis raised me. And we grew up with faith in God and loving family and friends and being positive and being kind to one another. So if we can if I can help represent that and bring that back to the forefront, then I certainly hope that he and my entire family would certainly be proud of me.
Absolutely. And I think they are. And Don hit on this earlier about Elvis and hope and how it all ties together. Elvis was the king of not only music, but just giving people happiness. And that's always been one of my things is, searching for happiness. It's always out there. It's just a matter of finding it sometimes and realizing that your situation is not as bad as what it could be or what some others are or whatnot. So obviously
Exactly.
you have that heart as well. And I'm so thankful that you're a part of this. And we're here to save lives. We want to encourage people. And
Absolutely.
My story is always, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Elvis. And there's a lot of truth to that. I met my wife in Chicago 33 years ago at an Elvis event. And so many times over, Elvis has kind of saved my life. And of course, the Almighty God is the one that is the ultimate savior, but I owe a lot to Elvis. And so having you on my board and having the same heart and wanting to encourage others means the world to me.
Hey, so Louis, how do people get a hold and find more information about choosing to live?
Well, we've got a website. It's neversuicide.org. And I've got phone numbers on there. I've got tons of resources. We've got lots of statistics and different things, but they can also call me. My phone's always available. I'm always on call. I don't know if I'll always be able to do that, but 417-988-1086. I've got friends that reach out to me. I've got strangers that reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, any of my social medias. I just always try to make myself available. And sometimes I look like I haven't had any sleep because maybe sometimes I haven't had any sleep. But, calls come a lot of times at nighttime in the middle of the night when people feel they're most desperate.
Sure.
And they need somebody to reach out to, or they send messages. And my goal is to always try to, at least reach out and make sure they're okay. And if they need help, I'll try to help. But that website at neversuicide.org has got great reference material on there and also other hotlines and phone numbers that a person can utilize as well.
Well, you sold out the fundraiser. You had more than one show. You rented out.
Yeah, we actually had two theater
full of people helping, choosing to live, donating money, great cause. I can't think of anything better. Right now they had Giving Tuesday. And I know Janet always picks things out and try to spread our money out on different things on Tuesday. But any time of the year would be a good time to donate money to your cause. I know that when you sell a house, you take part of the proceeds and you donate it back to Choosing to Live because that is so important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I got into real estate, so I would have a little more free time. So I thought, although it takes a lot of time, but I did have the freedom to be able to put some of this stuff together and help people. I'm not a licensed counselor or haven't gone through training or anything, but my training has been through life. It's been through the experience that I've had trying to commit suicide and wanting to commit suicide and wanting to leave the world and being depressed and having anxiety and being diagnosed with PTSD. And I've been down all those roads. So I understand what it feels like and I know what it's like to feel hopeless. But I also, in that same vein, I want to show people how you can overcome that. And I want to be a cheerleader of people. So all those funds and stuff that you'd mentioned a minute ago, we're always raising money. We're trying to do for people. We do everything from buy medication for them, send them to the doctors. If they don't have a care treatment plan, we try to get them in somewhere that they can get treatment. But funds out of my own pocket, whatever. I'm just, whatever it takes to make this happen. It's always been a dream of mine to help people. And this
because you were just a second or two away from taking your own life.
Yeah.
And there's people out there right now today, they are thinking about taking their life, ending their life. They think that they're no purpose, but God created every person individually, and he created you for certain things. I mean, you may not have figured out what it is yet. Sometimes I still try to figure out what I'm supposed to do next and things like that. But we pray to God that he will give us that message, that signal. And all these people watching out there today, I know there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of depression. There's just a lot of tension in this world between everything. Between
we all have so
families
many
and
responsibilities,
Yeah.
and we're all working lots of hours, and we're all spread thin, and the economy changes, the ebbs and the flows. And, you know, am I going to be able to afford the car payment or the house payment, or am I going to be able to buy my medicine? And everybody's got tons of things. If you look at somebody walking down the street or even living in, you know, the fanciest subdivision in town or the worst subdivision, I guarantee you everybody has something that they're dealing with.
That's
Everybody deals with it differently.
Right.
Some turn to things that they probably shouldn't, whether it be drugs or alcohol. There's others that are just destitute, and they feel like this is all I have. This is all I'm ever going to be. And so I'm just going to leave this world to be better off, which is farthest from the truth. You are meant to be here, and you're supposed to be here. We all have a purpose. It's just a matter of finding it and getting to that next day.
Yeah. And once you've been on one side, you want people to see if you can just endure through the night, that the other side, you know, all the life that is still waiting for you. And to think, you know, if you would have done that years ago, all the life you would have missed out on. And when I hear your story, Louis, all I really see and hear is that God was so sovereign over your life then, and knowing that you would create this choosing to live, and that the pain that you had would be for such a bigger purpose. And knowing that Donna Presley, which we'll say goodbye to her in just a second, is on your board. Only God could do that. Only God could use Elvis, happiness, music, you know, all of the things to drive that in. And for people, we just, you know, God really is the anchor. And if you can see where he's going to take you when you get through this dark season.
Yeah. My mother, she always reminds me.
Absolutely.
My mother prayed over me as a child all the time. Mm-hmm. She said, I knew you were going to have struggles, and the devil wanted you.
Yeah.
But she said, I wasn't going to give you up.
Yeah.
And so she's always prayed over me.
Yeah. Well,
God's always been there.
Yeah. So this is another great story, because Louis had great parents, and you had a sister that was.
I've got a sister.
Was loving too. She was a good sister, and so
she's the one that's got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. The one that has the stable job forever, and I'm just out there in the wind.
Yeah. Well, but you see, some of those people out here today, Don and Louis, they're thinking, they're listening to what we've said, but a lot of people don't know God. And, you know, a lot of our success is because we have accepted Jesus as our Lord and Savior. And it's not that hard to do. And I know that this time of year is really hard. Holidays are hard for people, especially people who've just lost a loved one, maybe a spouse or something like that, maybe lost another family member.
Loneliness,
inflation's causing problems. I mean, but somehow, if you can just grab a Bible and start reading that and getting God on your side, you're not going to want to commit suicide. You're not going to want to take your life, because if you've got God on your side, it's not that you're going to have perfect days.
Oh, Lord, no.
No, we're not going to have perfect days, but we're going to have better days. And when we have a day that's not quite as good as we want to have, guess what? God is right there on your side. He's right there, and he'll bring you back up to a better day. And that's the way life really is.
One song I always think of, and Donna, you probably know this one. It's God is the same in the valley as he is on the mountaintop, or something like that. Yeah. But isn't that the truth? When we're feeling our best, we also have to, when we hit that decline or that valley, we still have to look to him the same as we did as when we were feeling great.
Right.
He's the same God, and he's still there with you to help you and to guide you and to get you over that hump. And so
exactly.
Yeah.
He brings us through.
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, I am glad I met Louis Hughes several years ago at a fundraiser. We were helping a friend that had several little booklets out for all the schools and stuff like that. And
Cindy Dennis.
Cindy Dennis. I haven't. I wish I could see Cindy again. I haven't been able to find her anywhere.
I think she's teaching.
Is she teaching?
School possibly now?
Okay.
She reaches out every once in a while.
Well,
she's got a great cause as well.
Yeah.
Stopping child abuse.
Right. And so you were singing Elvis songs at a fundraiser that night that Jan and I went to, and that's one of the first times I think I'd met you.
Yeah.
And
I think we met years before,
probably
but didn't
before,
have a bond at that point.
But I tell you what, I know your heart. I know your heart, and so I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, is it time, Mr. Producer? We've got Mark, our producer, and so
hey, Lynn, real quick.
Yes.
We're gonna let Donna go.
Okay.
Yeah, Donna, we're going to let you fly. We know you've got a show to do and rehearsals to get to and all that stuff, but just know that we're praying for you.
It was great talking to you. Thank you so much. And Louis, I love you. I'll see you when I get back, and God bless everyone out there.
Bye, Donna. Thank
Bye,
you.
Donna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that's
what a sweetheart.
Yeah, Donna Presley, and
She is.
and
She's fabulous.
I am so proud of her for keeping that legacy, the information about Elvis alive, because what a great inspiration.
She's the closest DNA relative alive now, besides Lisa Marie Presley.
Yeah.
His daughter.
Yeah. So that's just amazing. Well, thanks for inviting her on.
Yeah.
Don't go away. We're going to talk about two sponsors, and then we're going to come back and make sure that we talk about real estate and other things that Louis Michael is doing. So our first sponsor is Brad Pistow. He is a fiduciary financial planner and certified planner. And so he resides in Ozark, Missouri in his business. And the phone number, be sure and write this down. Pencil and paper, write it down. 417-581-9222. 417-581-9222. When you call that number, Lisa or Hunter will answer the phone, and they're going to get you set up with some books. Brad has written a couple books, Safe Money Matters, and also Bulletproof. That book came out in December of last year, same time your book came out. And we're going to be talking about that book next week. So Henry Bigtree, that book right there. That's a great book. This is a great time during the holidays to buy this book, okay? And for children especially, but even adults could learn something on this. But adults and grandparents should be reading this book, okay? So we're going to talk about that later. But Brad Pistow is licensed in 3 states, but don't worry about it. The other 47 states, he's got that covered too. You call him, he knows people. He goes around and speaks all over the country. He's a contributor to USA Today on retirement planning, and he's just one of the smartest guys around. And he has plans where you never lose a penny of anything that you've invested. He's got plans that you don't have to worry about the stock market going down and down and down and then going up and then going down. You don't have to worry about that. Once I sold most of my stocks and I put most of my money in his retirement plans, I don't even look at the stock market anymore. I don't need to look at the stock market. I don't have to worry about it. And so if you want a safe retirement and a retirement fund that will last your lifetime, that's what he's going to help you with. I recommend Brad Pistow. And we're going to have him on in December, and he's going to talk about predictions in 2023 and how you can recover from what you've lost and what you should do in 2023. And so several of my family members, Don's family members, use him.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just a miracle that I got a hold of him, because I heard people talking about it in Ozark, Missouri. After I got back from Florida, I saw an article written by him, and I had told my wife, Janet, we were just getting ready to put retirement money out of our 401ks and things like that. And I was praying for the right person to help us, because we didn't know what to do. And I read this article in Florida. Then I come back home, and these 3 older gentlemen are talking about Brad Pistow. I just couldn't believe it. So I said, "Are you talking about the guy that talks about retirement planning?" Yeah, he's in Ozark, Missouri. We all use him. I'm going, wow. I was eavesdropping. You're not supposed to be listening to the conversation at the next table, but God had that.
All do.
But God had that planned. That's a God plan, and we made an appointment, and we've never looked back. I just love the guy. I love his family, and he'll take care of you.
If I ever get some money, I'm going to call him.
Okay, you do it, because right now
I would be a customer right now if I had some money.
Yeah, because here's the deal. Right now, there is plans that he has that will give you a $25,000, a 25% bonus. So if you have $1,000, you'll have a $250 added to that. So just think about it. Yeah, 25% bonus right now. And
it really is never too early to start planning.
No.
And I think in 2023, we're going to need to be bulletproof.
Yes.
Yeah, so. I agree. I agree. So thank you about that, because, people like Don, you're a young person, and Lou, you are too. But think about it. You need to start. I tell my kids all the time, they're in their 40s. It's now. So I've got Justin and Tara. They're using them now too. So I've got one of my kids using him, and need to get the other 2 going. I know I'll get Mandy this next year. So that's what you can do. We have one more good sponsor, and that's Youngblood Motor Group. And that's John Youngblood and John Whittaker. They're located in Springfield, Missouri on South Campbell. It's actually 3525 South Campbell. You got all new cars, Nissan, Kias on one side of the road on South Campbell, and you have over 150 used cars. At any given time, there's at least 150 used cars of all types. Some little cars, big cars, they're program cars, and they're certified cars, and they won't cause you trouble when you drive off the road, down the road. So you're going to have a good car. I love them because you can buy a car online. If you're smart enough, you can buy a car online. You can trade your car in. You never have to go to the dealership. Everything can be handled online, and then they'll deliver the car to your house or your business. They'll deliver it wherever you want it delivered. And you have a 72-hour guarantee, meaning that if you don't like that car, they'll trade you another car. So, it's very easy to buy a car. And they've been in business over 43 years, the longest family-owned business selling automobiles in Southwest Missouri. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
And John Whittaker is going to be on our show.
At the end of the month, right?
At the end of the month. Well, he'll be on at the end of December, both
Yes.
Brad, and then we'll be in December. And he's going to talk about electric cars, the future of cars, hybrids. He's going to talk about the difference between buying new and buying used, difference between leasing and things. And he's going to be talking about all kinds of information that I really believe the public will really relish. They're going to like that information. So
we drove through
good.
A couple of car lots last night. Patty and I, we've always done this our whole life, just go dream looking at cars. But going up and down the different lots, a lot of them were empty, but we got down to Youngbloods there at
they always have a good
Walnut Lawn and Campbell, and they were packed.
Yeah, they always
had a great selection.
Yeah, they're always trying to find the very best cars. They sell a lot of certified cars, and that means that they've gone through and done thorough inspections, and they certify that car to be a very good car. And so that's a comfort level. And used cars are obviously cheaper than new, but as these car prices have gone up, I can't imagine some of these trucks and things that I like cost as much as a small home or something like that.
Well, I remember back in the day, my grandparents saying something about that car cost more than their first home.
Yeah.
I'm there now looking at trucks or something. It cost more than my first home. It really did.
Right. So, you got to be smart about buying. And that's why I'm glad that John Whittaker is going to come in and talk to us about that. But anyway, so that's our 2 sponsors. And of course, Louis is a sponsor, and we're really proud that he's our 3rd sponsor. And we're going to talk about the real estate business now.
And it's still busy.
Yeah. So it's still going. And even though the interest rates, what is it now? Up to about 7% or?
Yeah, it's a little over 7. But
it
depends on where you're at and what kind of financing you're getting, and what bank or what financial institution you go to.
So,
well, Lynn, I want to back up real
Yeah.
quick and say we live in the best area. I know I keep saying that every time we're on this show,
Right.
but we live in such a phenomenal area. Actually, Donna Presley said she lives in Arkansas, which is our, close
Our
little
neighbor.
our little neighbor here. But Louis can service you in so many areas. I mean, if you want to be in the country, he can get you in the country. If you want to be in a really nice neighborhood with a great school district, he can get you there. But what we're doing with Lynn being the commissioner and what we've got going on in our Christian county, I mean, you just can't beat it. Our schools are phenomenal.
right.
Our teachers are phenomenal. The people are good. I was actually writing a little bit this morning about we live in the place that you still wave at your neighbor.
Yes. Yeah, people dream of living somewhere like the Ozarks. And luckily, even when you're talking about how the housing market crashed at one time, and we're a pretty resilient area when the peaks and the valleys come along, we're kind of right there in the middle. We don't suffer too bad. And then people's investments are still worth what they bought them for.
And
most of the
I
time.
think people are catching on of this like flyover state that
Yeah.
people really haven't seen. We are a beautiful area. I mean, just what we have with the rivers and the lakes and
Yeah.
all the cleanness and the nature, but it's just a great area to live in. And people are realizing that they can take their $1 million home in California, their little 2-bedroom, 1-bath,
Yeah.
and they can buy 40 acres and
Something 4 times as big with acreage and
Yeah, it's a great place to go. Christian County is the fastest growing county in the state. When we had our census at 88,400 a year ago, they said that we were the second fastest growing county. But now in the last few months, I was talking to Brad King. He's a developer from the Clever area. He built a really nice subdivision in Clever. He's also built a really nice one over in Republic. Now he's working on a 500 home project that also has retail, has all kinds of things in there. You're going to have some high-end homes. But what I thought was interesting, because there's a real need for what I call affordable housing for starter homes for young people, especially young people just getting out of high school or college, and they're getting married and they need a home, but they can't afford a $250,000 home.
they can't even afford the rent.
No.
The rent
And
right now is crazy.
Yeah,
It
the
is.
rent's going up too.
highest it's ever been.
Yeah, but I mean, to have a 10% down payment, that's the least you can probably have. And some may require more. Some banks may require more. But think about it. How are they going to do it? I really like Brad's idea. A part of this area, he calls it the lost middle class group, and the forgotten group. And so he's building in certain areas of this big tract of land. He's building, I think it's a 250-acre tract. He's building some he calls fourplexes, but you can buy the deed for one unit out of the 4 units. That's going to be much cheaper than buying a starter home. But this would be something where they build up equity, they build up investment, because when you rent, we know you might get a write-off, but on the interest. But
Somebody else is getting that equity.
that's right. And so really, this, I think, is something that's really needed in Ozark or anywhere. All over the country, we need starter homes, affordable housing. That's a problem.
Well, the new homes now that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, especially even in the outlining areas outside of Springfield, you can't touch for under 250 or 300,000.
Yeah.
That's $190 a square foot or something,
Yeah.
almost $200 a square foot. And it's just not, part of that is because of the prices of building and the lumber and all that went up. But, once things go up, very seldom do they come back down to match what the cost was. So they try to capture that profit, where they can. But
Well, you sell for the firm.
the firm real estate.
Yeah.
Yes,
And that's a family-owned business.
it is.
And they've been in business a long time.
Yep.
It kind of started off with Stan and Shirley Parham.
Parms.
Yep.
Yep. They were in business for years. And then their daughter, Sonia Wells,
took over
and started her own company called The Firm.
Sonia and Rick.
Yeah.
And then Rick passed away.
He did.
Sonia's kept going.
She has.
And she's not only is she a very attractive young lady, she's very smart.
She's brilliant. Yeah. She's pretty and brilliant. Her daughter Taylor's the same way. Taylor runs our office down there, and she's a broker as well. So Sonia's kind of passing the torch a little bit, but both of those girls, I've been there, ladies, I should say, I've been there about 4 years now with them. And I got my license about 10 years ago, but I just never activated it. I just held on to it because I was working in the entertainment business and doing different things, and the timing wasn't right. So 4 years ago, I started interviewing different companies and different people, and I knew a lot of these people, and a lot of them had asked me to come sell for them. But something about Sonia, I sat down with her, and I met with her husband, Rick, at the time, the late Rick Wells, and they were just the sweetest people, honest. We call our office down there, it's a boutique office. It's not your standard chain office, and nothing wrong with those. But we tend to take a little special care, I think, with all of our clients, and we name every property that we sell. It could be, something out here that we call Hidden Acres or the Entertainer or whatever, but every property really, when there's a home, people love their homes and they're so proud of it. And when you attach a name to it, if it doesn't already have one, they're like, oh yeah, that's my place. And, but that's how we market things. We want things to,
How many realtors is in that group?
Oh Lord, I think.
Been there 15, 20.
Once I went over there, everybody came over.
Yeah, you brought the group. Yeah.
That's not true. But I think I was probably the maybe 6th or 7th one she had at that time 4 years ago. But now I think there's 20 or 25.
I was going to say, I knew there was several.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that means that you all are doing well. She wouldn't keep adding people on if there wasn't a need. Of course, again, Christian County, fastest growing county in the state, but you can sell in Greene County, Webster County, whatever.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've sent clients to Las Vegas. I've got realtors that I went out and found a realtor in Las Vegas for a friend of mine, or New York, and I've even worked with these entertainers and found them realtors in Atlanta. Or if you have a need or a desire, you're going to move elsewhere. You can still call me. I've got resources that I can help you with, and find those realtors in those other areas. Or if you're wanting to sell your property and move to the Ozarks, I can help you find a realtor out there. Chances are I may know somebody already that could help you.
I think one of the coolest things, Louis, that we decided to do, you decided to do it, I kind of brought up the idea, is if you buy a house that Louis
I know where this is going.
If Louis has listed this house and you buy this house, he's going to have a block party. He's going to have he sings and sounds exactly like the real Elvis did. And so you won't know anybody. I bet you when you buy your house and you move in, you won't know anybody. To the right, to left, in front of you and behind you, you don't know anybody. But you will, because you can have a block party, invite everybody, and have your lawn chairs out in the backyard, and Louis will sing an Elvis.
He's my new manager.
Yeah, he'll sing all these Elvis songs for you. I'm telling you what, he
just won't wear the jumpsuit.
No,
that was 30 years ago. I don't fit in the jumpsuits anymore.
Yeah, so you don't even have to. But I tell you what, and then you all provide some snacks, get some snacks together.
Snacks are good. And
I'm telling you, it's just going to be awesome. You'll know all these people, and they're going to be so proud to know the new neighbor.
I know.
So that's what you got to buy a home, and that Louis is selling, and it's going to be a perfect world.
There was a day, I think, in years past that there had to be so many gimmicks, like you'd do something like that to sell a house, and nothing wrong with that, because you can be as creative as you can to try to market something or get it out there in front of people. But we've had a market the last few years since the pandemic started, really, that housing is in a shortage. It's in a crisis. So if you list something correctly, you can sell it fast. And that means your price has to be right. You have to have a realtor that's doing the background on it, investigating, seeing what things are selling for and what the true value of your home is. You don't want to price it too high, because you may still find a buyer for that $150,000 house you're selling for $190,000, but is it going to appraise for that? Are you going to be able to follow through with the deal, or are you going to be wasting your time, trying to sell it for that, unless you have a cash buyer? Right. But you definitely have to have somebody working on your behalf to figure those things out and know the true value of the home and what it will bring.
Well, and I think people realized how unbelievably stressful this last season of the real estate market has been, because I think what some people that I have talked with learned to invest in a second home, whether they could Airbnb it out, whether they had to buy the second home before they could sell the first home. but you need to be in communication with a realtor like yourself, because you need to know where you're moving to. And a lot of times, being so rooted in the community, you know when those houses are coming on the market but not on the market, knowing of sleeper properties.
Sometimes you can get a heads up.
Yeah, you have to have that heads up a little bit in this past market just to be able to be the first one to, make that offer. So I think just the communication part, people don't realize it's not as simple as just doing a search on the internet anymore. Right. And just, I want that one, because it could be gone before they.
And it's the little details. You had mentioned Airbnb. There are a lot of people that have bought properties to open up an Airbnb. One thing that you have to be really careful now, there's a lot of communities that are now outlawing those. It's been a great market. People have made a lot of money off having an Airbnb, an extra house, but now there's limitations on certain blocks or certain cities or towns, or even places in Hawaii. I found out that now they're outlawing them because it's putting such a damper on the hotel business. And so
are they creating taxes for
new taxes? But you got to be able to tell your buyer
I don't like
that.
Taxes, and we've got too many taxes already. But they've started to create taxes on these. Springfield and some of the areas are creating taxes that to try to make more money. But
your realtor's got to investigate those things.
I had a friend just buy what they thought was going to be an Airbnb, and their realtor didn't do their due diligence and found out that the community already had it banned. And so
that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So you got to have somebody working on your side to help you with those things and navigate that course. I mean, people think you just sign up and get your house listed and the realtor sells it really fast and he gets his commission check. But there's and there's a lot of them that may do that, but there's also a lot of work involved in making sure everything's legit and that it's right for the buyer and the seller.
Let me ask you a question. So if I was going to sell my house, somebody out there is wanting to sell their house.
I know a good agent.
I know that, and that's who I would use. I would use Louis Michael. And very possibly I will be using you because I've signed up for a place to a retirement community where we are on the list. And so they take care of everything for us. Very nice Wicklow, where they have very nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a lot of square footage, but not like I have in my house. And when they call me, I'm hoping to be ready. And I'm going to be moving.
Another thing I think people need to think about is you need to move before you need to move.
Right.
Like when it comes to making that move, you want to enjoy it. Don't wait till you need to. Do it when you want to. Right.
And that's what we're hoping to do, that we can do this before we age out of our large home that we have. But do people, when they're selling their home, you would come in and I mean, don't they need to kind of make sure some things are correct in the home? I mean, if there's some small repairs that need to be made, shouldn't they go? I mean, how much money should they spend to make sure their house is ready?
Well, it's definitely a conversation that you got to have with the realtor. Once the realtor comes in and evaluates the property, of course, you can find out what comps are and what things are selling for. But once you get inside and you start seeing the bones, so to speak, seeing whether the kitchen needs an upgrade or you've got a bedroom that needs painting or, hey, I might take those drapes off because you want to accentuate your windows, make it look better. That's your realtor's job, is to come in and help coach you through those things, because we don't want you to spend a bunch of money that you're not going to get back.
Okay.
Or it could be that you need to spend a few $1,000s to increase it another $10,000 in value.
Right.
Back to that communication.
Yeah.
Hey, Louis, give them your phone number again.
It's 417-988-1086. And you can also get me at louis@louismichael.com.
Well, Louis, we just appreciate you for who you are, what you're doing, choosing to live, and being our co-host, sponsor person that comes on. You are all the things, and we greatly appreciate you. Hey, Lynn, invite everybody out to the James River Christmas.
Okay, this Saturday, December 4th, 3rd and 4th, Saturday and Sunday, 3 shows on Saturday, 3 shows on Sunday. Go to jamesriver.org and look and see the times. I think on Saturday it's 3, 5, and 7. On Sunday it's 9, 10:45, and 12:30. You'll see me at 12:30 with 3,000 people. But I'm guarantee you don't have to go to our church. I'm not trying to get you to be a member. Just take your family. It is a family Christmas event. It's free. Right. It's a great show, always with a great Christmas message. It'll be great. So, hey, great show. We appreciate it, Louis.
Always choose to live. If you're dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD, or any suicidal tendencies, please reach out anytime.
And Don, it's great to have you back. And Creative
Workhorse.
mycreativeworkhorse.com. That's if you want some good ideas for marketing and your business, there's the lady right there, mycreativeworkhorse.com. Right?
Yep. It is creativeworkhorse@gmail.com. But yes,
sorry.
It's okay, Lynn. I appreciate everybody and excited to start December 1st tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Very good. And everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll be back next Wednesday.
God bless.
Miss the values, the old-time family. Do you dream this land stays free under God, not tyranny? That's what it means to really dream. 1, 2, 3. Can I get a hoorah from a patriot like me? Can I get an amen? Do I hear a hallelujah? Can I get a hoorah from a patriot like me?